Dear students, welcome to lecture 25 in distributed systems. Today's topic is load sharing approach. So, in the previous lecture, you have learned about the load balancing approach. In that approach, the system will always attempt to equalize the workload on all the nodes of the system. So, this is not an appropriate objective. Why? Because there is an overhead in collecting the state information to reach this objective, means which node is idle at any point of time. We need to check at every node. We need to collect the workload from each node, and this becomes a very big task when there are multiple nodes in a distributed system. Means multiple in the sense maybe having large number of nodes in a distributed system, it is somewhat a typical job. So what load balancing will do, it will equalize the workload among all the different nodes. But in the strict sense, means to implement it correctly, it is not achievable because the number of processes in a node is always fluctuating. Means sometimes the number of process per node might be 1, and after finishing that task it might be 0, or any new process are available to that node, then that node will have 2 or more processes at a point of time. So always the process allocated for particular node is fluctuating, means it will change, and the temporal unbalance among the nodes will exist at every moment. Means there will be imbalance of workload will be there. So we can say that it is the load is not perfectly balanced. So for the proper utilization of the resources of the distributed system, it is not required to balance the load on all the nodes. Then what we have to do means, it is necessary, instead of balancing the workload, it is necessary and sufficient to prevent the nodes from being idle. Means we can check whether the node is, every time the node is busy, so that we can prevent the nodes from being idle, while some other nodes have more than 2 processes. So one node should not sit idle when the other nodes are having 2 or more number of processes. I hope you got this. It is necessary and sufficient to prevent the nodes from being idle, while some other nodes have more than 2 processes. Okay, say for example, N2 is having 2 processes, N3 is having 3 processes, N4 is having 5 processes. But N1 is having no processes, means it is sitting idle, N1 is sitting idle. In such a case, it should not happen. So this type of load sharing is called as dynamic load sharing. Here we are not attempting to balance the workload, but the existing workload will be shared by the idle nodes. So here also some of the design issues need to be considered, same as in load balancing algorithms. So load sharing algorithms are suffering with the issues like load estimation policy, process transfer policy, the state information exchange policy, location policy, priority assignment policy, and migration limitation policy. As all these issues are very much similar to load balancing approach which we have discussed, but here the load sharing algorithms, the load sharing algorithms will not attempt to balance the average workload on the system. So in simple we can say that it is very much simpler to decide about most of these policies in the case of load sharing approach. Means all these policies are very much simple in to design the load sharing algorithm. So we will look at this one by one policies. The first one is load estimation policy, in which, as we said earlier in the previous approach of load balancing, like in that we have calculated it via some parameters and we have also attempted the probe messages. Like that, here also all those approaches are not suitable in a modern systems, but here in this load sharing algorithms also, whatever CPU utilization, means the measure of CPU utilization should be used as a method of load estimation. Means if for node N1 and node N2 are there, we need to compare the CPU utilization of N1 and N2. Whatever node is having high CPU utilization, then we can think that N2 is having heavy workload than N1. If there is no CPU utilization at any node, say for example at N1, if there is no CPU utilization, then we can think of as that node is idle. Why? Because when there is any process to run, there will be a CPU utilization. If there is no CPU utilization, we can think that that node is idle and we can allocate any process transfer to that particular node. And the second policies is process transfer policies. So all these load sharing algorithms are generally interested only in the busy or idle states of the node. Means they are all employing the method like all or nothing strategy. Either it might be busy or it may be in a idle state. So this strategy also uses some threshold value which we have discussed, same like load balancing approach. That single threshold policy with the value of all the nodes will be fixed at 1. Means every node will have a threshold value of 1. That means each node can process one process. Each node can process one process. So a node becomes a candidate for accepting a remote process only when it has no process. Means that process is idle, it does not meeting the threshold value, so it can accept any remote processes which are coming from outside. So let me pointed out that this all or nothing strategy is not good, and some load sharing algorithms will use the threshold value of 2 instead of 1. And next is location policies in load sharing algorithms. This policy will decide the sender node or the receiver node of the process which should be moved within the system for load sharing. Means which node should be moved in order to share the workload. So depending on the type of the node, they will be classified into two types: sender initiated policy and receiver initiated policy. What in this means? In sender initiated policy, the sender node of the process decides where to send the process. Means that either it might be the local process or it might be the remote process. It thinks of where this process should be sent. or transferred. What the receiver initiated policy? Here the receiver node of the process decides where to get the process. Always receiver will get the process and sender initiated policy will send the process. And the next policy is state information exchange policy, in which it is necessary if we maintain the nodes as busy in this load sharing policy. So here a node needs to know the state of other nodes only when it is either underloaded or overloaded. Underloaded means it does not, the value less than threshold value is assumed as an underloaded. The value above the limiting value, that is threshold value, is assumed as overloaded. So the state information is required only when there is a underloaded state or there is an overloaded state. In such a case only what is the current state of the system should be broadcasted. So in load sharing algorithms, a node normally exchanges state information with other nodes only when its state changes. Means if N2 is processing any two process, those two processes are completed processing by N2, then N2's state will change to idle state. So in such a case, it should broadcast a message that whatever process I have assigned with, those are completed and I am in idle state. So it should send in such a way. So broadcast when state changes is one of the approach we will use in order to exchange the state. A node broadcasts the state information request message when it is underloaded or overloaded only. So when the sender initiated policy will broadcast a message means a node broadcasts this message only when it becomes overloaded, and receiver initiated policy will broadcast a message when it becomes underloaded. Means in receiver initiated policy it wants to receive any process for processing. So the receiver will initiate a message when it is underloaded. So it can accept more process for processing. When sender will try to transfer the process means when it is overloaded. So that is in both these cases only the state information will be exchanged with the other nodes. Okay. In receiver initiated policy, it uses the threshold value of 1, and this method of state information exchange is called broadcast when idle policy. And the second mechanism used to exchange the state information is poll when state changes. Okay, poll when state changes. So this polling mechanism is normally used in a systems which uses large networks, which are large in networks. Why? Because broadcasting a message in a large networks will create a heavy traffic in the network. So we should not go for the broadcast protocol mechanism, and it is not suitable for large networks. So by what mechanism we need to send the state information means by using polling mechanism. So when a node's state changes, it does not exchange state information with all the other nodes, but it randomly means random which are not in an order is random. So it randomly polls the other nodes one by one, and it exchanges that state information with the polled nodes only. Say for example, N2 is in idle state. So N2 polls randomly some N5 node. If that N5 node is overloaded, then N2 will share that workload. Otherwise, if N5 also says that I am okay, I am under threshold value only, then it will poll another node N7 like that. So here the message is not broadcasting to all the nodes. So sender initiated policy will be done by using a node when it becomes overloaded, and similarly the receiver initiated policy will be polling whenever it is underloaded. So this type of receiver initiated policies which uses the threshold value of 1, and this method of state information exchange is called as poll when idle policy. When it is idle, then only it will poll all the nodes. So in summary, we can say that the load sharing approach, the process assignment decisions will attempt to keep all the nodes busy if there are sufficient processes in the system for all the nodes. It only ensures that no node is idle while processes wait to be processed at other nodes. So all the load sharing algorithms will not attempt to balance the load. So it is very much simple and easy to implement these algorithms when compared to load balancing algorithms. And the one which we have not discussed here is this one, that is migration policy and priority assignment policy. Those two are as it is like load balancing approach which we have discussed in our earlier lectures. So I hope you all have understood this topic. Thank you.